currently advises Obama's re-election campaign on the national security issues. Served 3 years as Undersecretary of Defense for Policy. Michelle, good to see you. The new ad that is out now, everybody has on-the-job training here. We know that President Obama, when he first came into office, didn't have a lot of foreign policy experience. Can you cut Mitt Romney some slack on that first visit, or you think that really indicates a lack of understanding on the world stage?
Well, his initial performance abroad certainly did not inspire confidence. But the truth is, beyond that, he really hasn't been able to articulate a clear vision for where he would take this country. He talks a lot about criticizing the president, criticizing his policies, but when you actually look at what he says, he seems to either embrace the president's plan, or where he differentiates himself really goes way away from the mainstream and takes us into some pretty uncertain territory. So I think the thing that makes people uncomfortable about him as a potential commander-in-chief is the sense of a lack of compass. Where exactly would he lead? He doesn't seem to know that.
The only difference that we really see, at least from Romney's major speech here, is that regarding Syria. For the most part, he is very similar in his approach to the world as President Obama. There doesn't seem to be a lot of daylight between them, except for arming the Syrian rebels. What is the main distinction here, the real highlight, the differences between these two leaders?
Well, again, I think he was the first part of the speech was very critical of the president, and yet as you said, when he goes through the particulars, it sounds like he's re-articulating exactly what President Obama is doing in places like Iran in terms of our support for Israel and the Middle East peace process.
So why should somebody vote or support the president then if they are so similar when it comes to foreign policy? Is there a major distinction between these two that people should be listening for?
There is. The president has a record. The American people have lived through the last 4 years where they've seen the president go after al-Qaeda and bring Osama bin Laden to justice. They've seen him bring the troops out of Iraq. They've seen him put in place a transition plan for Afghanistan. What they've heard from Romney has been all over the map. And frankly, they see him listening to a set of advisors who are the same advisors who brought us the first Iraq war, who advised President Bush in the first administration, and who really did so much damage to our standing in the world and our leadership in the world. And so it's very hard to know where Mitt Romney himself stands. And when he does listen to his advisors and stake out some of these positions like, Russia is our #1 geopolitical foe, or, day one in office, I'm going to start a trade war with China, it's very disturbing. And I think, yes, the election is about the economy, but people have to have a fundamental sense of comfort about this person as commander-in-chief. And I don't think they have that with Romney.